Hi, and welcome to the Grandparents and Beyond tutorial about mindfulness and conscious living. I'm Nina Walden, Managing Director of Chai Mitzvah, and I'm excited to go through the materials with you. We'll go over the different activities and texts and discuss tips for connecting virtually. Before you start, make sure everyone is on board, including the parents or guardians. Read the texts and choose the activities and conversation questions that work for your family or group. Don't feel that you need to complete the entire booklet. The recommended ages for texts, conversations, and activities are marked by the icons you see on the screen. But your youngsters might be ready for things that are in an older age group, or they might enjoy a game that's recommended for younger kids. You and your youngster are the best judges of which activities to do, and the discussions can go wherever you like. There are no right or wrong answers. Also, make sure that you have any supplies you'll need for the activities. For the activities in this booklet, you'll probably just want to print out page 6 so that you can draw pictures in the bottom, page 8 so you can fill in each square with Shabbat activities that you enjoy, and page 10, which you can print out on heavier paper or mount on cardboard to make the jigsaw puzzle. Mindfulness is paying attention to what's happening in the present moment. Sometimes we need to turn off our autopilot, especially if the path we are following is one on which we don't want to continue. By practicing mindfulness, we can shift our behavior in response to our surroundings from involuntary reflexes to conscious choices. That means we can be more aware of everything around us, including our relationships and beliefs. We'll look at some of the tools Judaism provides to help us be more mindful of the small details of our daily lives, of how we impact others and they us, and of our everyday blessings. We'll also have some special activities for the very smallest of the grandchildren. Let's start out with some interesting videos that help us listen with our eyes. One is for younger children or less keen observers, and one for older people or ones who can pay closer attention. Watch whichever of these surprising videos you choose. What does it tell you about being aware of small details? I'll play the shorter one to give you an idea of what they are.
This is a test of selective attention. Count how many times the players wearing white pass the basketball. How many passes did you count? The correct answer is 15 passes. But did you see the gorilla?
How well did you observe? Did you miss some of the less obvious details because you were focused on the goal of how many times the basketball was passed? Go back and watch it again and see if you see the gorilla this time. Sometimes we're so focused on what we need to do that we miss important moments. This leads us to the next story. This story comes from a sermon by the Rebbe, as quoted by Mitch Albom in his book Have a Little Faith, and it helps us to understand what's meant by mindfulness, conscious living. A little girl came home from school with a drawing she'd made in class. She danced into the kitchen where her mother was preparing dinner. "Mom, guess what?" she squealed, waving the drawing. Her mother never looked up. "What?" she said, tending to the pots. "Guess what?" the child repeated, waving the drawing. "What?" the mother said, tending to the plates. "Mom, you're not listening." "Sweetie, yes I am." "Mom," the child said, "you're not listening with your eyes." Do you identify with the daughter or the mom, or both? How do you think the little girl felt when she entered the kitchen? What do you think the mom was feeling when her daughter came home? What does it mean to listen with our eyes? How do you think the little girl felt after the conversation with her mom? How can we become more mindful of the ways we act, speak, and interact with others? One way to do this is to retell the story through the lens of mindfulness. One Jewish approach to living a mindful, conscious life is tefillah, prayer. Jewish liturgy includes prayers that express gratitude, thanks, and praise. Jewish prayer is an expression of the hopes and dreams of the collective Jewish people, as well as the personal requests and desires of individuals. Prayer has the potential to allow us to deeply see our lives. It can help us to identify our blessings as well as our work. The important thing is that prayers and blessings focus our attention on the present. Although it is human nature to be aware of the things we want and lack, the Siddur, prayer book, guides us to be mindful, conscious, and grateful for our everyday capabilities and blessings that we might otherwise take for granted. Here's a nice activity. Write a prayer together. Here are some ideas to help you get started, but you're not required to use all of them. You can also add ideas of your own. God is, choose as many as you like or think of your own, merciful, protective, creative, powerful. We're thankful for, fill in the blanks. Our hope for the world is, our hope for our family is, my hope for myself is, and have each person contribute one. Now let's take a break from the booklet and talk about activities for the youngest grandchildren, those who are less than 3 or 4 years old. What kind of game would focus on the same theme, listening with our eyes or observing what's around us? You guessed it, peekaboo! Another good game is hiding a toy and finding it together. These games focus on object permanence, and they're very interesting and fun for kids who are working on developing this skill. A good way to build Jewish content and feeling into this game is to hide a ritual object or a Jewish symbol. If you don't have any that seem safe for the tiniest child, you can find age-appropriate items of this kind online. There's so many Jewish toy sites. Let's look at the following prayer, taken from the daily morning service, Brachot HaShachar. It shows how prayer reminds us of our blessings and our obligations to ourselves and the world. Each of the blessings corresponds to an action we take upon waking. For example, giving sight to the blind could be opening my eyes when I first wake up. There's a link right here for more examples. These actions and corresponding blessings serve as a reminder of the blessings and work of daily life. The activity is to choose the 3 lines in the prayer that inspire you most. Tell in words or pictures what they mean to you. If you've printed out the page, you can use the boxes. You can also choose to collaborate online in Padlet. If you'd like a quick tutorial on Padlet, check out last month, Relationships, the Grandparents and Beyond tutorial. There's a detailed demonstration there. After you've chosen your top 3 and told why they are meaningful to you, you might consider this. As Jews, we are instructed to be like God. What work do we praise God for in this prayer, and how can we emulate that work in our own lives? On the next page, page 7, there's a link to a fun game, Brachot Match. Jewish tradition teaches us that we don't have to wait for a special day like Thanksgiving to feel thankful. You can say Brachot HaNehenin, blessings of appreciation, any day, or even compose your own personal prayers of thanks. Try this game to find out more. Click to match the bracha to the reason for saying it. Who remembers a covenant and keeps your promises? Well, this is not a match. Creator of good tastes and smells and fruits. On hearing thunder. I think I'm going to have a match. On smelling fragrant fruits. There, a match. Another really fun way to focus on this topic is Shakhar Charades. Choose one of the actions that you wrote about or illustrated in the boxes on page 5 and act it out silently. Take turns. See if the others can guess which one it is. Another tool that Judaism provides to help us lead a more mindful, conscious life is Shabbat. Shabbat is traditionally seen as a precious gift given to the Jewish people. It is a day to set aside to stop all acts of creation and attempts to achieve mastery over our world. As opposed to producing more, Shabbat opens a possibility of deepening our awareness of and relationship with what already exists. Many of the ways we celebrate Shabbat can help us block out our everyday distractions in order to lead more mindful, conscious lives. Here's the text relating to this concept. Rabbi Moses ben Maimon, known as Rambam, says there are 4 themes related to Shabbat: to remember that we were slaves in Egypt and that God created the universe, to observe special customs like candles, kiddush, friends, to honor anticipation and preparation, like cooking a nice meal or wearing special clothes, and to delight in joy. The chart you see here defines the 4 themes that Rambam applies to Shabbat observance. You can print it out and fill in each square with Shabbat activities that you enjoy under each of the categories. Speaking of Shabbat, the word refresh comes from the Hebrew word nefesh, commonly translated as soul. We will look for the word vayinafash, which means refreshed, in the text of the Shabbat evening Kiddush. Older children might like to highlight a printout or even highlight it on their tablet or phone while listening to the recording that's linked here. Younger kids will for sure enjoy the singing Kiddush cup. Remember, listen for the word vayinafash. There is a link right here to the entire recording, but for the smaller children, click right here and you'll hear this. We'll end with the activity Refresh Your Nefesh. As you might remember, the word refresh comes from the Hebrew word nefesh, commonly translated as soul. Think of activities that refresh your soul, both spiritually and physically. For example, hiking in the woods, being with family, yoga, helping grandma. Things that make you feel thoughtful and grateful. Print the puzzle below on cardstock. You can print one for each person or do one puzzle together. Write one activity on each puzzle piece. Separate the puzzle pieces and then assemble them one by one on Shabbat as you partake in your favorite activities. If you'd like to share your favorite activities, please post them on Instagram at #ChaiMitzvahMitzvah. Enjoy the materials and see you next month. Remember, if you have any questions, please contact me, Nina at ChaiMitzvah.org.